Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago Bears fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. There's some serious buzz swirling around the NFC North right now, and it's all about the possibility of the Chicago Bears making a bold move that could reshape the division's landscape. And I'm talking about a potential blockbuster trade that's got everyone talking. The name in the spotlight: T. Higgins, the explosive wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. Reports and rumors are swirling that Chicago is eyeing Higgins, and if this deal goes through, it could be one of the most impactful moves of the offseason, especially for the Bears' quest to get back to the Super Bowl. Let's start with what's fueling all this speculation. The Bengals, sitting at a 7-7 record heading into the final stretch of the season, are in a tricky spot. They're in the midst of a rebuilding phase, and with the extension talks for Joe Burrow hitting some snags, they're reportedly looking to cut costs and retool their roster. Cincinnati's cap situation is tight, with around $9 million in cap space, and they're focusing on their defensive line, which needs bolstering. Meanwhile, the Bears, sitting comfortably at 10-4 and with a wide receiver core that's been battered by injuries. Oduns and Burden are out for the season, and the team's depth at the position is pretty thin, are on the hunt for a deep threat that can stretch defenses and open up the field. Now Higgins is no ordinary wide receiver. He's a game changer, a guy who can turn a game around with one explosive play. This season alone, Higgins has put up some impressive numbers: 72 receptions in 14 games for over 150 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's an average of about 14.6 yards per catch, which ranks among the top receivers according to PFF, and he boasts an 86.4 grade in their grading system. Not only that, but Higgins is a yards after catch monster, with over 500 YAC this season, forcing 28 missed tackles along the way. His route running is crisp, with just 2.9 yards of separation per route run, and he's proven to be a reliable target in clutch moments. His career stats since 2020 show a consistent producer with nearly 800 yards, 32 touchdowns, and an EPA per target of plus 0.14, which tells you he consistently adds value to the offense. One of the more interesting aspects of Higgins' game is his ability to stretch the field. His deep roots and speed make him a perfect fit for a team like the Bears, who could really use that kind of vertical threat. In Week 14 against the Steelers, Higgins caught 9 passes for 138 yards and a touchdown, averaging 4 yards of separation, a sign of his ability to get open even against tight coverage. And while he's had some injury issues this year, missing a couple of games due to a hamstring injury and some shoulder trouble last season, his overall health record is solid enough for teams to see him as a reliable deep ball weapon. So why would the Bengals consider trading Higgins? Well, as I mentioned, their season has been a bit of a roller coaster, hovering around 500. They're also looking to rebuild their secondary, which needs some fresh talent after some rough seasons. Plus, with the cap space they have, parting with Higgins for a couple of first-round picks in 2026 could be a strategic move, especially if they're prioritizing locking in Chase with a new extension. Adam Schefter and other insiders have mentioned that there's some buzz about talks happening, and with Cincinnati focusing on their cap and their roster needs, Higgins could very well be on the move. Now, let's shift gears to what this could mean for the Bears. Adding Higgins to the mix alongside Keenan Allen, who's been a steady veteran presence, would create some serious mismatches for opposing defenses. We're talking about a duo that could turn the Bears' offense into one of the most explosive in the league. The stats speak for themselves. PFF projects that bringing Higgins in would boost the Bears' passing efficiency by around 26%, raising their yards per attempt from roughly 7.4 to over 9.3. And that's not just numbers. That's potential for big plays, scoring drives, and keeping defenses on their heels. Higgins' presence would also open up the field for other playmakers. His ability to stretch the defense vertically means more room underneath for players like Darnell Mooney or even newer targets. Plus, Higgins' knack for yards after the catch would make him a threat on intermediate routes, turning short completions into big gains. Think about the impact of a Higgins-Keenan tandem. Defenses would have to pick their poison, and that kind of versatility is exactly what the Bears need to elevate their offense to a new level. And let's not forget the big picture here. If the Bears land Higgins, it could elevate their chances of making a deep playoff run. The team's offense has been trending upward, but adding a player like Higgins would give them that extra gear, especially in high-pressure situations. His ability to make contested catches and win in tight coverage would be invaluable in close games, and his speed could be the X factor that stretches defenses just enough to open up opportunities for everyone else. Looking ahead to the potential playoff implications, there's already some buzz about how this move could set the Bears apart in the NFC North and the NFC overall. The odds of a Bears Super Bowl appearance could get a significant boost with Higgins on board. Right now, sportsbooks have the Bears at plus 1,500 odds to win it all, but with a move like this, those odds could tighten considerably, perhaps to plus 850, especially if Higgins helps unlock the full potential of Justin Fields and the offense. The matchup against the Vikings, with Justin Jefferson still as a formidable deep threat, would become even more intriguing. Higgins would give the Bears that extra speed and explosiveness to counter what Jefferson brings, making every game in the final stretch a true chess match. Now I want to talk about the impact on the division. The NFC North has been a tough, competitive division for years, but a move like this could tilt the balance. The Packers are in a rebuilding phase, and the Lions have been impressive, but the Bears acquiring Higgins would make them a real contender. It's all about stacking up offensive weapons and creating mismatches, and Higgins would be a huge part of that game plan. His addition could make the Bears' offense one of the most explosive in the league, capable of scoring from anywhere on the field, especially with the speed that Higgins brings to the table. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL, and there's always a cautious side when it comes to big trades. The Bengals might be hesitant to let go of Higgins, especially if they're still fighting for a playoff spot or believe he can be a key part of their future. But if they decide to move on, the Bears could swoop in and make a splash, much like the Browns did when they traded for Amari Cooper in 2022. That deal added over 200 passing yards per game to Cleveland's offense and turned them into a more dynamic unit. A similar impact with Higgins could be just what Chicago needs to push for a deep playoff run. Now, looking at the broader picture, this move could also be a statement by the Bears. It signals that they're serious about building a high-powered offense and not just settling for mediocrity. With Justin Fields developing and the offensive line improving, adding a deep threat like Higgins could be the final piece in the puzzle. The front office seems willing to make bold moves, and this trade, if it happens, would send a clear message that the Bears are in it to win it, aiming for that elusive Super Bowl title. In terms of the draft capital, acquiring Higgins for 2 first-round picks in 2026 might seem steep, but considering what he could bring to the table, it's a worthwhile gamble. Teams that have made similar moves in the past have seen their offenses take a massive leap forward, and with the Bears' current trajectory, this could be the catalyst that propels them into serious contention. You have to remember, the NFL is a league of moments and big plays, and Higgins provides both in spades. His speed, his ability to win contested catches, and his yards after catch ability make him a true game changer. So what's the final verdict? If the Bears manage to pull off this trade, it could be a franchise-altering move. It would give them a legitimate WR1 capable of stretching defenses and creating mismatches all over the field. It would also put the Bears squarely in the conversation for a deep playoff push, and who knows, maybe even another Super Bowl run. The division would definitely take notice, and other teams would have to adjust their game plans accordingly. As we keep an eye on the rumors and the official moves, one thing is clear. The Chicago Bears are not just content with being a middle-of-the-pack team anymore. They're aiming higher, and adding T. Higgins to this already talented roster could be the missing piece to unlock their full potential. The offseason has just begun, but if this deal materializes, it will be one of the most exciting storylines to follow in the NFL this year. Stay tuned, Bears fans, because the future might be brighter than ever, and we could be on the verge of witnessing a new era of explosive, high-scoring football in Chicago. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think Higgins would make the offense unstoppable? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in navy and orange? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion means everything to us and to the Bears. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news. The offseason is heating up, and things are about to get even more interesting. So keep your eyes on the prize, Bears Nation, because we're heading into a new chapter, and it looks pretty promising.